Hi everybody. This is DearMamaSal, and we are live on a Friday evening, which means it's time for us to talk about coping with life. Very big welcome to you all, whether you're here live at the actual recording of this, or if you happen to be watching it on the replay. We at DearMamaSal are a group of people who get together 3 times a week, and we help each other cope with life. And it's really interesting on Friday lunchtime, that's Pacific time at 12 o'clock noon, we talk about coping with feelings, and we had a really good broadcast on that today. And then here at 7 o'clock Pacific time in Friday evening, we talk about coping with life. And then on Sunday afternoon at 3:30, we talk about coping with stress. So a very big, warm welcome to you all. And it's always great. Hi there, Sandy, and also Isa. Great to see you as well. And I do know now that Isabel is from Quebec and Sandy is from Ontario, thanks to a lot of help that I got from Jody today. And Isabel, do you want to know how, hi there, Sharon. Do you want to know how I got it sorted out? I said I need a phrase that I can go through my head that, so I will remember which is which. For some reason, I always get you two mixed up. I know you're in sort of close proximity, but I can never remember which one of you is in Quebec and which one of you is in Ontario. And Jody came up with, Sandy is putting her PJs on. So Sandy, and PJ is in her screen name, and then on for Ontario. You got to admit, that's really clever. So now I've got it. I don't have to worry anymore. It's wonderful. Sharon, I hope you're well and laughing. I always laugh when I think of you because I know you love a good laugh. So let's hope that you've had a good week. And how has your life been, people? Has it been a good week for you so far? Because, I can ruin it right here. I'm just going to say that it really, I was amazed. We had a really interesting broadcast at lunchtime. And yeah, it's the 3rd time I've got the wrong link there. And it is just all about really pacing yourselves. And that is what our topic is this weekend, how to pace yourself. And so this is a nice quote that I found, and it says, rather than grind yourself into the ground, learn to pace yourself properly. So you have the staying power to get everything done. And what I was saying at lunchtime today is really consider this week not having to finish it all unless it's critical. In other words, if you thought this little task was just going to take a couple of hours, as I thought on the task that I was talking about at lunchtime, and the wheels come off, or in my case, the wheels need to come off again, understand that if you can just see it as life, and not get upset about it and just go, okay, so it took me 2 hours to get this far, and it's going to take me probably an hour to get it undone and start again. But when you can do it with that sort of mentality, it is not going to stress you out nearly as much. And also, is it really that important that I have this cart to put my TV on this week? No, I've done without a TV for 2 weeks. And really didn't really miss it. And then yesterday I managed to get one of my TVs working. For those of you who don't know, I've been away from my home for 6 months while they rebuilt it. A section of it burned in a fire 6 months ago, and they've been rebuilding it, and now I'm back in. And I managed to get the television on, and then I realized my TV in my bedroom isn't the same HD TV as I had before. At the temporary house. You can really feel that after you've had that quality for that long. The one that I will eventually get sorted out for my living room will be full HD, all the bells and whistles, but the one in my bedroom, it's sort of old school. So that may need an upgrade, but that's not a high priority because mostly I use that one for watching, catching up with quick bits of news. So, how are you all doing? I hope well. I hope I got an interesting broadcast for you. I found that we do really push ourselves way too hard. And before I get into the program, I just wanted to say, first of all, for those of you who may not have heard, and I'm pretty sure you all have, Prince Philip passed this today. And, you know, when you think about 99 years old and married for 73 years, he had a good life. And he had a good life that could not have been easy. I was saying at lunchtime today, I really think he did his duty. It cannot have been easy for a military man, or any man for that reason, for that matter, to have to walk 2 steps behind his wife for a whole lifetime while they were in public. Obviously, he probably didn't do that when in private, but in public, he always had to walk behind her by a couple of steps. And so you look at it and you go, that must have been very difficult to do. Plus, I don't know, I just think that his life must have been interesting in ways that we cannot imagine. Part of me hopes that he wrote a memoir, but I'm sure he didn't, because that's not what royals do. But I would love to have read it, because I'm sure he got up to no good all over the place. How about this quote? Once you've committed yourself to something, pace yourself to the finish line, right? In other words, we push ourselves way too hard on certain things. And I would ask you, please, to rethink that this week, whatever you're pushing yourself on. By the way, I've got some thoughts and prayers, and I'm not sure if Chris, Max's dad, Chris, is going to come in, but we did hear some sad news that his father apparently had the vaccine and still got COVID. So we're hoping that he will be okay. Also, Sharon, are you feeling any better this week? Because I know you had a tough week last week. You're on my list. We did hear from Nyasha at lunchtime, and Nyasha was saying she was feeling a whole lot better, so that was good to hear. And for those of you who know our adorable Manon in France, she is going through heartache, in fact, heartbreak right now. She's been in a 2-year relationship, and they just moved in together back in February, I think. I could be wrong, but and then suddenly he said, "This is not a long-term thing. I don't want a long-term relationship." And you know Manon well enough that absolutely stunned her. And what I said to her is the same I would say to anybody who's going through that sort of a heartache. It's something I learned the hard way through many, many heartaches. But the most dangerous thing you can do when your heart is breaking is to ask why. Why did they do this to me? Well, they did it to you because that's who they are. Why did they not tell me that, 2 months ago? Well, because if they had been strong enough to do that sort of thing, they would have done. Why, did he have a 2-year relationship and only tell me this now? Well, be grateful that you know it now, not 2 years from now. And so, I look at it and go, for any of us who have been through heartache of that sort, we know the pain. And I just, it's just a case of I wish I could walk around the corner and give her a hug, but I can't. And so, and for you as well, Sharon, I wish I could walk around the corner and give you a hug, or at least be within eyesight of you tomorrow. And maybe I could ask that you do that. Maybe tomorrow, that every now and then you'll look up and see me there, giving you a, and let you know that I am close, and that it'll be not an easy day. But as somebody once said, pain is inevitable, but suffering is a choice. In other words, it's not going to be an easy day, and that's quite normal. How much you suffer will be in direct relation to what do you do, what your how much you think about yourself rather than I think it's your daddy, was it, that passed? So think about that. Hi, Leo. Good to see you. How about this one? Pace yourself. Ask for help. Be flexible and respect your limits. One of the things that I found is that respecting my limits is getting a little bit more challenging for me. I had 2 projects this week, both of which required the use of my hands. And for the first time in my life, I had problems holding onto screws or holding onto a screw in one hand and trying to manipulate something else with the other. And I've never had that quite so badly as I had it, yesterday. And that made me sad, but then it's also a reality. And it's something about, I just need to be aware that this is part of what's going on in my life and to be prepared for it to get a lot worse. And so, Jody, I know that you suffer from a lot of fine motor skills as well, but you don't quit. So I will keep doing, and part of me now says that maybe what I need to do is to do more exercises with my fingers to keep that flexibility. If anybody's got rheumatoid arthritis, let me know what the answer is here, because it's time I started to study this quite closely. However, you know me well enough, it's not going to stop me. And what I did is when I couldn't hold it with my own fingers, I went and grabbed my needle nose pliers and used those as my fingers, and it was actually quite funny what I ended up doing, because you know me, I don't quit easily. We had some updates at the broadcast, and I wanted to let you know, how many of you have heard people be deeply concerned about the AstraZeneca vaccine? And the reason I'm asking that is Jody managed to find some information that I thought you might all like, so that you can pass it on to people who are a little bit concerned about this. Jody managed to find out that only 7 people have had blood clot issues out of the 20 million doses that have been given. 7. And those 7 had a reaction to one of the antibodies. It's a very rare reaction. And I wondered whether any of you feel the way that I did, which is that puts that in a whole new category. All right. All right. So Jody is saying, I work on hand mobility daily. Therapy putty is helpful. Would that be Play-Doh? Is that therapy putty? Oh, I miss Julia and I'm playing with the Play-Doh. Okay, and really just any activity that keeps you using your hands. So part of me goes, it's probably a good thing to go back to knitting or crocheting just for that. Or, part of me is going, piano would probably time. But I really realized that it looks okay now, but actually, if you watch it carefully, this one's got a problem. A couple of the others, this one's not going quite right. So I need to do, maybe I can make a keyboard and just pretend on the table and keep doing this to keep them working. Thank you for that, Jody. I knew you'd probably have some input. So just in case any of you need, hi, Abby. I'm learning English too. Did you know, Abby, I have English as a second language. I was not originally English speaking. So I'm always learning it. So welcome. And, it's great to have you here. Thank you for coming in. I'm pretty sure that some of you will be interested how I'm doing with the unpacking. Because as you know, literally hundreds and hundreds of boxes came into my house for the second time for a year. Okay, so let me have a look. Jody is saying, it was updated, so there are a few more within the 20 million. The BBC, it's the BBC, quoted 79 total with the rare antibody reaction. 79, okay, so not 7, 79 out of the 20 million plus. Okay, That's still pretty good odds, if you don't mind my saying. So what I thought I'd let you do is let you know how many boxes I've got left in each section of my house. You know the fireplace area where I normally do the Sunday broadcast. It is my hope to be able to do the Sunday broadcast from there on Sunday, because it would give me motivation to finish cleaning up in there. I have no boxes left. None. It just needs to be tidied up now. So the question that I have is, because they took everything off my walls as well, I was wondering whether you would like to, not only did they take everything off my walls, but they covered up all the nail holes. So I got to start all over again. And I was wondering how many of you would like to see the horn back in view when I do the Sunday broadcasts, and maybe the horse brass as well. I'm not quite sure where that is yet. I don't think I found that yet. So because I was thinking, just in terms of all of you that are old, long-term viewers, and remember when you could see the the horn and the horse brasses. What is my favorite recipe? That's so difficult. I really can't tell you. Food in general is my favorite recipe. I still love the old-fashioned English stuff like roast beef and Yorkshire pudding. I really, that's part of me. Actually, I must say that the meal that I cooked that really surprised me was I once did and I think I put it on a video, I once did a pork tenderloin in a mixture of soy sauce and balsamic vinegar and blueberries. And I slow cooked them, with lots of pepper and stuff in it, but I slow cooked that for 8 hours. I want to tell you, when I tasted that, I would have paid big money to eat that. You know what I mean? It was one of those recipes. Well, it wasn't a recipe because, I don't read things. I just throw things in. But, I did say I wish I had kept track of what I threw in there, because, boy, that was good. What is your favorite recipe, Is? Okay, so hi there, Kimmy. Good to see you. How about this one? This is like a friendly reminder that doing your best does not mean working yourself to the point of a mental breakdown. Any of you go, I needed that this week. Doing your best does not mean that you need to kill yourself in the progress. Beth, just the lady I wanted. I have questions of you, Beth. I was going, when I put this question into the broadcast, I thought, I hope Beth comes so I can ask her. Are you going to be around for a little while? How far down is it on my list? Little far. Are you going to be around for a while? Because I do have a question for you. Or shall I just ask it now? Let me just ask it now. Beth. All right, people, I'm not getting paid. Have you tried this product? Or this one? Now, the reason I'm asking the question is because they both work incredibly well. So here is the thing. Yeah, instant change. Instant change of programming, Jody, you're right, because Beth's here. Beth is our cleaning guru. Beth, I want to tell you that the question that I have is, I'm pretty sure that you have tried them. And the fact that you said love that, it means which one? The Dawn or the Clean Freak? Now, here's the good news, people. The good news is, oh, you want to see it do something? Hold on. I can't show you that, but I want to tell you there were goobers on the bottom of my pan. Okay, I sprayed on Oh, I wonder if I can find another one. Find a pan that's got some glue on it. Yeah, 17. Okay, got a few, not really. That pan is so noisy. By the way, if anybody tells you that you cannot put pans in the dishwasher, I've had these pans for about 20 years. Now, do they look fairly new to you? Not scratched? Not, yeah. The thing is, buy good ones, and you can. Okay, now I've got a total mess here. I've got a black too. I wonder if that'll work on that. I'm not sure if it will. Okay, worth a try. Anyway, so this is obviously one of these. Rock, right? So what I'm going to do is just spray it on. We see here where it's dirty. I just don't know if it'll work. I haven't tried it on here before. But if it does, what I did, I'm not joking. I had all sorts of goobers on here, and I just sprayed it on, and look at this. So, okay, here we go. Oh, wrong one. I want the Dawn, because it was the Dawn that I tried before. And what they say is you just spray it on, comme ci, comme ça, as they say in France, and then just leave it, and it does its thing. Here's the question, Beth. Do we know what makes it fizzy? Do we know what makes it fizzy? Because that's what I've noticed. It definitely has a fizz to it. So, and what you do, baking soda, is that right? Magics. Magic, says Jody. But, literally, it's all you do is just spray it on. And so, don't know if it will have done it, but let's see. And then you just wipe it off. And that came off it. I don't know if you can see, just in that short time. And what I found was, look at this. It just did lift it off. So, if you did it a couple of times, you'd get it completely. What am I using? Indeed, Sandy. Walking away from the computer when I'm busy with Beth is a very dangerous thing. Okay, let me put these away quickly. I will tell you in a second. Okay, so I'm sure we don't want to spend the whole broadcast looking at my pots and pans. But look at that. I mean, you couldn't ask for cleaner, could you? And done. That was this, Sandy. And, I saw it advertised, and me, it's a new gizmo, let me try it. But what I've also noticed that when I went to the temporary lodgings, when I had the apartment, they had this, and I was pretty impressed with this. If you've got a glass stovetop or anything, these two are they really work well. So the reason I'm asking is because they both are refillable. And the reason I'm asking what makes the fizz, and Kimmy's saying it is baking soda, because I'm now going to start working on a recipe to create my own. So both of these are very similar, very slightly different nozzles. And even with my arthritis, I can undo both of them. See that? But really good for what they do. I do know that you can buy refills for this. You don't have to buy the whole thing. You can just buy the refill to put in. We like that, less waste. So there's more to come, people. it was an interesting thing, and I'm certain that I can't be the only one. Baking soda and vinegar create the fizz. But what if I put them in together? Beth is saying that the Dawn one also works great for the screens on Windows. Well, Jeannie, you know me. I do love to play with new things, right? It gives me great glee. Now, what I was also wondering, I've used this on my stovetop. Here, look at my stovetop. Can't you see it gleaming? Well, Kimmy, that's what I'm going to experiment with. All right, so vinegar, baking soda. It's so good to use the soda, okay, and the Dawn I've got. So very exciting. I'm amazed. The other thing, this is going to probably surprise you, but you've got a stain on some clothing. I've been spraying it on there, and it works like a charm on there too. They both do. So it's a bit like I will never buy normal cling wrap once I found the stretch and seal stuff. Not stretch and seal, what's it called? Press and seal. Right? What have they done with it, guys? We know it's here somewhere. Oh, there it is. And what I do now is I just buy a bigger thing and I wash it. I use it and then I rinse it out and use it again. That saves me a whole lot of money on buying new stuff. Yeah, I would say spray this on, leave it for about 15 minutes, and then take a nylon scrubber. That's not a person. But, and just, you'll be surprised what it takes off. I was absolutely shocked. So that's why I needed Beth around, because if anybody knew the information on that one, I thought it'd probably be Beth, but it turned out to be Kimmy as well. So that's awesome. Well, there you go, people. I like to find things that hopefully, I always work on the principle, if it works for me, the chances are some of you will probably want it as well. You see, Jeannie, we don't have Target here in Canada. It came and it left. We had it for about a year and it disappeared straight after that. It was very sad. And I don't know why they left, but they did. And so, it's just one of those things. How about this one? Do not run faster or labor more than you have strength. So, Jody is always our sort of benchmark on this one, all right, with all the pain that she is in as well. And, she's learned to pace herself very well. She can do everything. But just now it's different. Oh, Izza is talking about the capsules for the dishwasher. I've got an easier way. I have an easier way if you're interested, Izza. It's amazing. I do buy the store-bought ones, but I only use it very infrequently. When I've got a really bad thing. Okay. So you remember that what we've got here is just a mixture of borax. Smells so good. All right, so this is a mixture of borax, lemon juice, Dawn. Just so good. Okay. The thing is that I had to stop making it in teaspoons because the Dawn creates much more soap. So, guys, I literally put in like not even a heaped teaspoon, just a regular teaspoon, leveled off. And I use that for my dishwasher. By the way, no reason at all I couldn't use it in my washing machine as well. And that was another thing I discovered. Yeah, Jody's saying you always find ways around obstacles, different strategies to cope and accomplish. Well, it's who I am. It gives me joy. You know that. That's what makes me happy. When I was in the rented apartment, and COVID thing, coping with that, I found out that using disinfectant soap, hands, the sort of big thing of disinfectant soap, worked really well in my washing machine, and a lot cheaper. Jody's saying that I am her inspiration to keep moving forward. I was living life looking in the rearview mirror for decades. I now like to look to the view looking ahead. Yeah, it's all a mentality. And, the kid in me, I believe that the kid in me is the one that gets so excited. For those of you who didn't watch Lunchtime, I have a new gizmo, and you will be getting updates. Hang on a second, if I can get it into view. How far do I have to do it? And I need to turn it up so you can see it. But I did decide to treat myself to one of these indoor gardens. Now, the funny thing is, I didn't get the Aero Garden bottom bit. I got something called Moisten Land. But the pods that I've got in at the moment are Aero Garden ones. They come like this. You just drop them in. But the reason I'm showing you is because if it works, which I think it is going to. By the way, this moves up and down as the things grow. You can move this up and down. All right. And so what I wanted to find out from you all is I want to have the perfect bits to put in a salad here. All right. So I've got tomatoes, and I've got basil, and I've got mint, and I've got parsley. The question is, I'm going to do baby spinach. I really find that, I've got a mint plant outside, and I just find putting mint in my water and a couple of bits in my salad really gives it a kick. It's great. So now, here's another tip. For those of you who have a deck or whatever, I buy butter lettuce in a plastic container. Wait a minute. Da-da, one of these. Okay. Well, here's what I found out is I've now got about 4 of these going. And what I do, this is going to just blow your minds. Tarragon. Okay, I got to write that down. Jody, make a note, please. What I do is when I want to make salad, I will take 3 or 4 leaves from the outside of this one. The next one is smaller, so I'll take a couple of younger leaves of that. And then the third one's got baby leaves on it. And they're all sitting on my deck, where it is still quite cool, but they're all doing really well. And they appear to be continuing to grow. I'm not watering them or anything, just the moisture that's created is enough. And by the way, if you're short on space, you could stack them up. Just another tip. Tarragon. You'll remind me, Jody, I'm sure. All right, so Ralph Waldo Emerson said, "Adopt the pace of nature, and her secret is patience." Now, I've used that quote at lunchtime, but I keep thinking how important that quote is. Adopt the pace of nature. Nature doesn't try and grow all this stuff in a heartbeat. All right? Nature takes its time. And so the thing is that I look at your life in a different way and see if you can give yourself permission to not do quite as much and have more time. Or, as in my case, have way more fun doing it. All right, here we go. Here are the boxes that I've got left in the house. Fireplace area, no boxes left. It's all the boxes are emptied. Some things I still have to tidy up, but it's emptied of boxes. Living room, 0 boxes, emptied. Dining room, which is over there, you can see a little bit of it there. The dining room area is has 1 box, and that's half empty. Pretty good. Oh, I said 2, but I told a lie. I must have emptied 1. It's half a box now. That's pretty good. I'm pleased with that. Kitchen, no boxes, as you can see. And the boxes, if you remember when I came 2 weeks ago, the boxes were higher than I was, where I'm standing, 2 deep, and they were 3 deep on top of my here, and it was solid. So big job getting all that done. All right, good night to you, Jeannie. Good to see you. And you can catch up on the rest later if you want to. Right, laundry room. I think it's done. Yep, 0 boxes left. Craft room, I've got 1 box I haven't emptied yet. Quite surprised about that. The studio is a big area because if you remember, I never did finish it last time. That one has got 56 boxes in it, still. But the reason I haven't emptied them yet is because I'm trying to finish the unit into which a lot of it will go. And so I'm busy building. However, next week, I'm going to make sure that for every box I undo, I will also undo 1 in the studio so I don't fall into that trap again. Master bathroom, done. No boxes. Bedroom, there are still 9 boxes. Plus 4 big ones with my artwork in it. 2 of them I'm using as a headboard. I'm using 2 of them as a headboard. They make a very good headboard. I've covered them with floccartis and they look really quite nice. I'm quite happy. However, you do know that all my clothes in my bedroom are in boxes on their side. So I've got this sort of wall of sideways boxes. And now what I'm doing, as soon as I've got all the boxes empty, I will then know what I need to keep in the bedroom. And then I will buy the units I need to do it, just in case you haven't seen that. Anybody? Let me just get that picture because it is. Anybody? Is it really that far back? Apparently. Okay, there we go. Right, this was the start of it. It now takes up the whole wall. But I literally put all the boxes on the side and then started sorting into the boxes. So that's what I'm doing. I've already sent some of it to the Sally Ann, and that's why I'm doing it. I want to see, do I really want 52 t-shirts? Yeah. The answer to that is sometimes. And these were the boxes that were in the fireplace area alone. You can imagine that. And they're all gone. It's all empty now. So happy with that. Okay. So going back to where we were, just in terms of the update, total of 68 boxes. Now, I thought I had less than that, but every time I seem to count, the number seems to get larger. But I think because I can actually see the boxes more clearly now, and that's why I'm able to get that count. So I'm going to keep updating you because it will inspire me to keep dropping that. Nyasha and Kimmy's asking what happened to Nyasha. She was on at lunchtime and she is fine. She was having a bit of a downtime, but she also was terrified. She knew that she would have to have the AstraZeneca vaccine because that's what they're using in her part of the world. And I think a lot of the third world countries will end up with the AstraZeneca one. And we were able to make her see that that wasn't as big a risk as she thought it was. So she's a lot happier now, I'm pleased to say. All right, so here we go again. Laura Stack said, no matter what kind of job you have, you can't just keep going and going and going like a machine until you drop. Pace yourself, trim the fat from your task list, stop wasting time on things that don't matter. I am amazed that, since I've come home, I haven't been doing my steps on the Wii, W-I-I, Wii. I haven't been doing those steps. And I was averaging 8,000 a day plus. What has amazed me, just unpacking, I have done not as much as that. I've probably averaged about 6,000 a day. But what I realize now is if you want to do movement, you can. All right, so it doesn't matter what it is. If you don't have anything that inspires you to move, then maybe that's a good idea. Find a hobby or something. Maybe help somebody else unpack if you're allowed to. So think about how much stress you put on yourself by a judgment. A lot of us were taught, that if you start something, you need to finish it. Yes, the sooner the better. And what I really would encourage you to do is to say, enjoy it. Do any of you ever do jigsaw puzzles? Can any of you remember having the time to do jigsaw puzzles? The reason I ask is my neighbors do jigsaw puzzles all the time. They're retired and that's what they do. And they sit and they chat and they just have such fun during. But as you know, jigsaw puzzles are not a quick thing, right? They take time. And yeah, they take a lot of time. And so think about that. And that is not a task that you hurry, and yet think about how much fun you have doing them and the achievement that you feel when you drop that last bit in. And those are the sort of things I would get you to think about, that sometimes the slower is better. Now, the other thing I found this week, and I don't know if America has a similar product. Okay, this is Sandy. I found out that Rogers make, and I've just decanted it into a plastic bottle because that's how I keep this stuff. But this is a mixture of porridge oats, oatmeal oats, rolled oats, and ancient grains, right? And what I do is I put this into my bread dough, and boy, does it give it a good taste. It's got all the ancient grains in it. And the thing is, you don't have to go buying all of them individually. They are all pre-packed. And I just want to let Sandy know that in case she goes back to making bread at all. But, literally I will make my bread. Oh, and here's a tip. A lot of people don't like making bread because it's messy. And I found out if you don't want messy, then put all the ingredients into a plastic bag and then you just mix them up and leave it out on the counter for the day. And then that night, put it in the fridge. And then the next day, bring it out. There's a trick to getting it out of the plastic bag. Very simple. Oh. All right, so this is just straight water, a bowl. The trick is whatever you're going to use, make sure it's wet. Yeah. And then all I do, this is going to blow your mind because it's so easy. All I do is I turn the bag inside out. Right? And then I push it like this. Take the wet spatula and then off it comes. Like that. There we go. So you get most of it off. There's a bit left on, who cares? I put it in the wash bowl like this, dirty side out. Just put water in it to keep it submerged. And by the time I go to clean that tonight, all the floury stuff will have dropped off. Amazing. And then what you've got is, this is for my roll tomorrow. So here it is. And all I do is I literally will add a little bit of flour like this. Remember to keep this wet. And I just mix it up. Oh, doesn't even need that much. Oh, that's good. The least amount of flour, the better. And so this doesn't need very much at all. There we go. And that is ready for my roll tomorrow. Yeah. And it's hardly what you call labor intensive. So I'm just going to leave that there. You're going to ask me, what am I going to do with this? Got a special place for that. It goes in here. And then all I do is I just mix this up. Oh, where did you go? And okay, so I'm just literally just mix this up like this. And as I was saying, I throw in a few of these rolled oats and ancient grains. And that can take a few more. And then I have really hard work about making my daily. I allow myself to make one bun a day, and I normally only eat half of it. But there we go. So then all I will do, please notice how hard that was. I will put the lid on. I don't know why it keeps wanting to reload the site. Okay. Anyway, so there we go. I put the lid on, but not too tight. I leave this while I do the broadcast tonight. I'll put that in a plastic bag and it will do its own thing. And I will have, if I use another one tomorrow, probably won't, so I'll put it in a plastic bag and put it in the fridge. And when I'm ready for it, it'll be ready. Simple. Takes all the mystery out of making bread. And just, I don't know why it is doing that. Okay, guys, I just need to cancel something here because I'm not sure what's causing the problem here. Okay, so you're wondering, does it make good bread? This is frozen, but yes, really good bread. And by the way, you can freeze it. And what I do is in the morning, I'll just pull out one piece of bread, put it in, take it out of here, put it in another plastic bag, let it thaw in the plastic bag. It is perfect. That's called eating on a dime. Now then, here's another thing I wanted to make sure you know. This Savoy cabbage, you remember I was talking about cabbage about a month ago? This is the same cabbage. Seriously. It's getting a little bit soft now, but this is still very edible. And I take off, for example, tonight I'm doing some udon noodles, and I've got all sorts of vegetables that I got chopped up. And I will just take that Savoy cabbage and then just cut it into small strips and throw that in. And literally I use a leaf or two a day. And that was a big Savoy cabbage when I started. But I thought I'd show you, how many things do you have in your fridge that have lasted a month? And it still is, it's still in good condition. Good bang for your buck. By the way, I also use it if I get fed up with eating lettuce. I use it and make a coleslaw to go with the meal. With some mayo, which is good protein. So, thought I'd mention that. Some things stay in the fridge a long time if you treat them well. How do I treat mine well? I huck it in there. So there we go. Let's see what else I've got for you today. We've done our cooking and cleaning. Here's another little thing I wanted to. Hi, Becca. Good to see you. Yeah, Jody's saying, probably eggs lasted a month, but certainly not produce. Well, think about that, right? That Savoy cabbage, definitely worth buying. And I'm a single person. And you know that I will grow new ones from it, right? This came from an offcut. You know, when it was last one was finished, I cut that bottom bit into 4, and this is 1/4. It is now growing a new Savoy cabbage. Really, we can do this, people. We're going to have fun, especially now that I'm home. Here's my one question I wanted to ask you. We talked mattresses last week and also at lunchtime today. And by the way, for those of you who wanted to know, I have now put up that link to that mattress on the Facebook page because people were asking me at lunchtime. Here's what I wanted to say. If you sleep on your bed, which I presume you do, okay, so this is your bed. I'm going to buy new markers. Okay. What happens is you're inclined to sleep at the same place on your bed every night, all right? And you do probably turn over and use a little bit more. Here's what I've started to do. I make a point before I go to sleep of moving over about 6 to 8, about 6 inches to a foot, all right? And starting to sleep in a different place on the mattress. Why? Because a mattress will last longer if I do that. Now, if you guys share a bed with anybody, that gets a little bit more difficult, unless you get them to drop off the other side. But you know, think about that. If you're the only one sleeping in your bed, think about changing this position just a little bit. All right, so Becca is saying, Sal, I have an update for you. I've talked with my store manager about stepping down from a lead to ease my stress and provide more room for me to take your psychological counseling. Good girl. Good girl. I am proud of you. That is exactly the topic that we're talking about, which is pacing yourself. You don't relish the implications of the change. All right, what will change? You know, your health comes before anything. I'm pretty sure you know that. Your health is your number one concern. And that's what you're doing. Oh, now that is clever. Becca, for those of you who are watching on the replay, Becca's saying that she's also starting proofreader jobs. You know, you've got a great use of the English language, and I think that's really good. Did you know, Becca, that for all my years in publishing, do you know the best way to proofread something? Goes against, it's counterintuitive. Read the sentence backwards. You will pick up more errors if you read the sentence backwards and then forwards. Why? Because what happens is when we read it forward, we speed read it. And therefore we don't concentrate on any one word. If you're reading it backwards, you actually look at the word differently. Whenever I had to copy check anything, I read it at least twice, once each way, and then probably another time straight on. Yeah, there will be financial implications of standing down from that job. Yes, I agree. So, you know, it is what it is, Becca. And, you know, I want to tell you that the fact that you are willing to do that for yourself is impressive, as far as I'm concerned. Impressive. Jody's saying, how did I know you were going to say read the sentence backwards? I'm quite fortunate because I'm a Virgo, so I pick up a lot of errors fairly well. If you think about it, of all the thumbnails I have ever put up, you know, how many of them had a typographical error on them? I think I found one once where I had to redo it, but you know what I mean? I'm pretty good at proofreading in a hurry. But that's part of the way that I do it. I made a big mess here, didn't I? Not that you guys particularly care. Get that out of you. Apparently I care. Or at least. All right, so you all got the trick about the dishwasher. Good. Now, I've got another little trick for you if you're interested. I can keep my peppers way longer. What I do is I find a suitably sized container that is just about the size of the pepper. And I put some paper towel, or actually toilet tissue works well, at the bottom to absorb, because these things are inclined to weep. And put it in there, and I want to tell you that is 2 weeks old and it's still looking fresh. This one was a bigger pepper, so I put it in a cream cheese. But look at all those seeds. Peppers, we can grow peppers now again. All right, so I thought I'd show you that. And then let me get my, it actually keeps them fresh much longer. So if, like me, you're trying to get your buck to last longer, that's a good way of doing it. Now, I want to share a money-saving tip from Jody. She sent me one, which was, what did I do with it, Jody? I had it here. Let's oh, there, no? Okay, I gotta go search for it again. That is weird, I had it here earlier. Never mind, Sal, it's not where it's meant to be, so go find it. I had a picture of it. Picture. Go to photos. So, Jody, let me remember what it was. You took, Jody can probably tell me faster than I can find it. You took yogurt and added something, am I correct? Jody bought plain yogurt because it's cheaper. And, oh, there we go. Thanks, Jody. You're awesome. All right. So she wanted to get some of this layered Greek yogurt stuff going, but she decided she'd buy the regular plain yogurt and then add raspberry lemonade. You know, the little squeegee bottles you can put in your water of raspberry lemonade. She ended up adding that. I have also found, and I've probably talked about it before, but I'm going to keep talking about it, 1 teaspoon of no sugar added jam adds more sweetness than you'll ever need to yogurt. I'm not joking. It just gives it a totally different taste. And no sugar added. Very simple. And, you know, it just makes it decadent, and it's great. And by the way, sprinkle a couple of nuts on it, end up with a feast. So keep sharing these things. Little squidgy bottle, you don't know what I meant? You knew exactly what I meant, right? One of those little squidgy bottles. Mio is one of them, right? Do you have Mio in the States? I think you do. But Jody had the good value one, so it doesn't really matter. So let me go back to where I was. Right. What I want to do is talk to you a little bit about being prepared, not scared. Here's the thing. Expect the following things to increase in cost this year because of COVID. Computers and all electronics. Why? People are staying at home a lot more and they want to upgrade their technology. And because of that, you will find that the price will probably start to increase between now and Christmas. So do yourself a favor, if you must have a new appliance, electrical thing before Christmas, get it sooner rather than later because the price will go up. Food, expect food to increase in price. Expect it to happen. Go back to the larder, your pantry, whatever. Make sure that you buy, when you buy flour, buy bulk if you can. If you normally buy £2, buy 5. If you normally buy £5, buy 10. All right? Please do that. Same with things like all the essentials that you use. You know, if you can eat rice, buy it in bulk rather than small amounts. And if you are like me and got a big freezer, you know, just keep it in the freezer. So you've got it, and you've got it at a cheaper price. Coffee, another one. Buy coffee. If you see any coffee on sale that you can stomach, you know, you are not going to be sorry because the price of coffee will definitely go up. So all your foodstuff's going to go up. Price of meat, I think, will soar. So here's another thing. Consider eating less meat. Now, Jody, you were saying that, you know, we need to try, if we can, to actually eat 60 grams of protein a day. That would be cheese, beans, protein, meats, you know, whatever it is, 60 grams a day. The question that I have is, how many of you are changing the way you eat? 60 plus, she said. And so think about that, in how to cut down on your carbs and actually eat more proteins. Isn't that amazing? Because when I grew up, the protein was the bad one. Expect furniture to go up in price. Why? We're spending more time at home and we're actually going through our furniture more quickly, right? Before, if you think about it, we spent more time going out to work and doing things. Because of the pandemic, we're in our homes a lot more, and therefore we will wear out our furniture more quickly. Makes sense. Expect gas to go up dramatically. You know, those oil barons have lost a lot of money because of the pandemic, because we have not been driving our cars. And so they will need to make that money back. And how will they do it? They'll increase the price of gas. All right, Becca's saying, I replaced my Samsung with an iPhone after I broke my Samsung, and I found a new iPhone on the promo price, originally retailing at $400, and it was on sale for about $150. That's clever buying. Of course, I want to take advantage of this deal. iPhones, especially ones brand new, are expensive. What is something that hasn't had a price hike? Good question, and not too many things I can think of. But let me go back and say, you don't have to have the most modern one, okay? I'm a great believer. When I replaced my phone, the last time I replaced my phone, I upgraded to the 10, I think. Or is this an 8? This might be an 8. I always buy not the latest one, right? I don't buy a really old one, but I just don't buy the latest one because the chances are they're reducing the price of the one under the recent one. By the way, expect all home exercise equipment to rise in price. More and more people now realize that they've got to do more exercise at home, and you know, all those companies that had their gyms and everything that have had to shut down. If you can get one of those bits of equipment secondhand, good idea. Interestingly enough, weddings will go up in price because they're going to try and recoup the money they lost for the last year. See, this is what causes it. You know, all those businesses that lost major money last year will now start coming back into business, but they'll hike the price to try and make up what they lost. Video games and entertainment, funny enough, will also go up in price. By the way, I got this from the Reader's Digest. Yes, Jody is saying you want to buy anything secondhand. Facebook Marketplace is a great resource, but please make sure if you're carrying real money that you take somebody with you, all right? Because there are a lot of scam artists that just want you to be carrying, $500 in your pocket, and then they will take it from you. Think about that. So always make sure that you do it in a public place, not at somebody's home, and do that. Yes, Becca's saying, I've seen so many ads on my Facebook for home fitness equipment like treadmills and step trainers. Yes, however, they do say, and I'm just telling you, that if you're buying new ones, they're going to go up in price quite dramatically. So if you need it, pick up secondhand ones. Expect your energy bill to go up. Have any of you noticed that it's already gone up? And do you know why? You've just been through the winter and you spent more time inside this winter, and some of you in the Southern Hemisphere just coming out of summer. But be aware that your cost of the utilities that you have used by being at home, has caused that increase, and you didn't get an increase in money. Renovations are very expensive, yes, Isabel. And products are getting difficult to find. I'm still waiting for 2 of my light fixtures that haven't come in yet for the same reason. Expect the cost of mailing something to go up even more, and it's already horrific, but expect it to go up. I've now got a system with Judy, because sending presents to the girls is an international shipping and it's horrific. What I now do is I will do all the research of what I want to get for the girls, and I will save all the links, and then I send Judy all the links, and then Judy very kindly buys that in the States, from Amazon in the States, and then tells me what the total cost is. I save about $50 minimum every time I buy the children a present, just by doing that. And she is more than happy. She understands how horrific that price is. So think about getting clever with your mailing. Clothing. Expect the clothing companies to try and recoup what they lost as well. So if you can, recycle and reuse your clothing, as always. Don't go for this year's fashion. You can't afford it this year. That would be my sense. Good. So how are we doing? I look at it and go, pacing yourself is a really important talent. Oh, well, thank you, Becca. I really appreciate that. And you have no idea how much I appreciate that contribution. I really do want to thank you from the bottom of my heart. I found that since I'm retired, the cost of running DearMamaSal is, you don't really notice it when you're earning money anyway, because, you just, but now that I'm retired and on a limited income, every bit helps. So thank you very much indeed. All right, now then, we've done be aware of what's going to go up in price, but I've got another thing for you. How about let's be prepared for the summer? Right, what sort of things do you buy in the summer every year? Let's get your input. What sort of things do you use in the summer? By the way, if you live in the Southern Hemisphere, obviously that would be start thinking now about what you're going to need for the winter. So think about what sort of things do you need for the summer? Do you normally buy a new top or a new pair of shorts or maybe some flip-flops every year? If you do, consider buying them now or if you know how to buy sensibly from Wish. Wish can be a difficult thing to buy things on, because you have to know that their idea of extra large is your idea of minuscule. It's just right. So sandals, definitely. So, what I would do is start looking at buying them now, knowing it'll take 2 or 3 months to get to you, and buy them at half the price straight out of Wish. If you know how to buy on Wish, and I say that because we've all had our horror stories, but think about that. I buy my shoes on Wish because I now know how to do the sizing, on them. So that's a good thing. So think about that. Think about, if you're going to buy flip-flops, do it now. Jody says our air conditioner is vital for us in the summer. Yes, so Jody, if you know that's vital to you in the summer, you've also got a big freezer. So could you supplement the cool by using ice out of your freezer? Have a poor man's air conditioner. All right, so Nada's saying, hi Nada, always good to see you. Just popped in as always, wondering if I need to ever clean an air conditioning filter. Yes, most definitely, unless you want allergies. That is a breeding ground for microbes. I don't know what sort of air conditioner you've got, but I would say you clean them at very least once a year, and probably every season that it's on. How often do you clean yours? All right, that's what Google is all about, Nada. You've got the make of it. Google, how often do I need to replace the filter of my XYZ portable air conditioner? And it'll tell you. How do I do it? It's bound to be something on YouTube to tell you. All right, Jody says that she washes theirs every month. So get a filter that is washable. All right. There you go. And again, think about that, because Jody, I love it that your filter is washable. Remember, I said at lunchtime, the reason I like this little baby dustbuster is because the filter is washable. I hate the built-in obsolescence where in order to have a product continue to work, you've got to buy something new every time. I really have a problem with that in my mind. Good. So good thinking about the air conditioner. Your air conditioner is going to be on. So again, if you do need to buy regular filters that aren't washable, maybe you can pick them up more cheaply now than you will be able to 2 months from now. Think about what meals do you make in the summer. Think about what do you like to bake. That is different in the summer, and start adding that to your shopping list now. So by the time it gets to summer, you've already got the things before they go up in price. That would be a suggestion. What do you need for your house in the summer? Do you like to change the drapes, or maybe a pillow on your bed or whatever? Think about what colors would be good for the summer. All right? Give me some input. I, of course, have now just got brand new bedding, and I'm thinking that maybe for the spring and summer, I might put a yellow pillow on. Why? I've got that dark gray background. Hang on a second. I've got that dark gray background, and yellow would really pop. Or even cerise is what I'm thinking. Hang on a second. So picture's always worth 1,000 words, isn't it? But only if I can find the picture. What did I do with it? Yeah. There's one. But you see, I've got a gray pillow at the moment, and then I've got that white bedding, and then behind it, the dark gray wall. All right. So can you imagine either one pillow or two that are yellow would look really good on there? Or what about, that cerise sort of pinky color, hot pink almost, would also look good. What else would you put there? Oh, aqua accents. Yes, in the summer. Aqua would look gorgeous on my bed. Thank you, Jody. So, that's why I'm saying, and you don't have to buy, that's why I like to do one accent wall and then change the small things in color. All right. So think about getting a couple of pillows that you can change the pillowcases. And, just 1 year, buy different pillowcases, each covers for them each season. And after a year, then you've got the covers you need for probably the next 5 years. Not a bad plan. It's a good way to save a lot of money and give yourself a new feel. I am very seriously considering, I know this sounds incredible, getting somebody in to put picture rails, like the actual, it's like crown molding, but put it up in my rooms so that I can change my artwork every season. Because I got quite a lot of it now. And if I go back to painting, I'm going to have even more. And I'm thinking, wouldn't that be nice to just not have to worry about poking more holes in, just that I have, the sort of the picture rail crown molding type stuff up, that I can just put a picture in. And some of them can be big ones and some of them can be little ones. Smart? Now, I could do it myself, but I think it might be worth having somebody come and do it properly, because I'd like it to all to be square, and I'd rather get it done right. And then I don't have to worry about anything else. I just keep swapping the pictures, the artwork. Becca's asking me, I forgot to ask you earlier, how are you feeling post-vaccination? I am feeling good. I did have a little bit of a brain fog. Nothing serious. It was just like a very low grade headache. And that is all. Becca, quite honestly, I've still got the little, proof of purchase on. I did actually feel it go in, which surprised me. I didn't think I would feel that, but, it wasn't bad. It was just like, okay, I know that's going in. And that after you have the injection, they make you wait for about 20 minutes, because if you're going to have a bad reaction, that it's likely to happen within that space of time. So, and so take a book with you, or take your cell phone with you so you can play games or something. All right, Sandy, Sal, off topic, but do you put your pot lids or hang them around? Okay, if you notice, I put a couple behind my oven. What do you think? The best pot lid I've got, and if you haven't got one, I want to tell you it's well worth the money. One that you can see through. Okay? Just want to tell you that that's a really good pot lid to have. My other ones, I keep them in the pots, Sandy, so I can put the next pot on top of it without them ruining each other. All right, so I actually rest one pot on the lid of the one below. So, and that works well for me. Okay, a second. The other thing is, think about, what do you like to make in the summer? For example, I know that I need to be planting seeds now that I will be able to harvest later in the year. I am starting to, I've already put potatoes in. And I know that lettuce, it'll get too hot for lettuce in the summer, so I'm keeping my lettuce this year on my deck, where it'll be cooler than in the direct sun. They're just sitting there. I got a little space behind my, about this much space, and I just dropped them there. By the way, I don't know if you can see it. You probably can't. But you know that tiny little space between the oven and the worktop, the countertop? I use that. I drop knives in there. A lot of them are in the dishwasher, but I keep my knives in that tiny little space, and it's a perfect place. By the way, word of warning, I didn't know this until I went to sell my house. If you're showing your house, put them away. Never ever have knives showing when somebody is trying to show your house, because you don't want anybody picking it up and using it as a weapon. I didn't know that. All right, Kim is saying, I had reactions the day, had a headache, body pain, and a temperature. My arm did itch for 3 weeks. Okay, which one did you have? Which injection did you have? The second one, Becca, depending on which one he had, I have heard from a number of people that the second one can cause a little bit more reaction than the first one. I think it's a heavier dose. I don't know what the reason it is. Jody probably will know. But I do believe that the second one, people have had more issue with the second one than the first one, but still get it. The other thing is, oh, you had the Moderna one. I had Pfizer. And the reason that it was important for us to talk about the AstraZeneca is there's been such a lot of bad press about AstraZeneca. And really, whilst obviously anybody having blood clots is not a good thing, when you think about the fact that the math on it is just insane, all right? You've got more chance of being hit with a car than you have of having a blood clot issue. And you've got to think about the upside, all right? Getting a vaccine is going to stop you from dying. It's going to stop you from being in ICU, most likely. But even if you went to ICU, it's going to stop you having to have, a respirator. Yeah. And so just don't push yourself. Yes, that's right. Becca's saying, I don't know which one he had, but I'm sure he knows when to take things easy. I would say that was the other thing. I had a busy day the next day, but I certainly made sure I rested a lot as well. I paced myself with more rest period in between, and I made sure I got plenty of sleep. Also very important. The other thing is think now. Oh, sorry about that. Think now about what you like to do in the summer. It's going to be different this year. What did you do last summer when you were in lockdown? And, what can make it more enjoyable? Think about that. What could make your summer more enjoyable this year? Can I have any input? Will think about, I made sure, I don't know about the rest of you, but I made sure at least once a week I got in my car and I drove, and it didn't matter where I went. It was about getting out and getting away from my environment and just going and looking at new things as I drove. I think that's an interesting aspect. I've really been proud with Jody and Lionel, who are making a point. They actually get to borrow a car every now and then. And every time that they get to borrow the car, they make it a field day, right? They not only go and do the medical things they need to do, but they make sure they add fun things to it. For example, they went collecting more materials, all right? Becca, you're saying actually visiting with friends. Do you think you will be able to do that? Or are you talking socially distanced visiting? Yes, you will drive more in the summer. Good. That's good, healthy stuff to do. All right. And so think about that. Think about what you can do. And think about the fact that we can do it safely. Unfortunately, we have closed down the restaurants again because there was a spike here. But Always think about what can you do, not what can't you do. And 9 times out of 10, there are things that you can do. But, if you want to be a victim, you can say, oh, well, I'm not allowed to do anything. And, that's fine. I'm going to start finding ways to socially interact with a few of my friends. I really need to go see Yvonne. And even if I have to sit 6 feet away for a while, I just need to see her smile and laugh. Because, I do make her laugh. I was saying that she actually let me know, that little thing you poke down the drain, your sink drain to collect hair, spiky thing. I don't know what it's called, but it's so funny. She said that she put hers down and pulled up this wad of hair, and she could hear me say, well, that was hardly worth doing, was it? And I said to her, you're absolutely right. That's exactly what I would. A drain snake. Thank you. A drain snake. She put down a drain snake and pulled out, half her hair. And she said, she could just hear me going, well, that was hardly worth doing. Don't know why you bothered. Becca's saying where she is in Ohio, restaurants and coffee shops are still open. Tim Hortons, yay, go Hortons. Timmy's is just, anyway. Tim Hortons lobby open back recently. Okay, so we just had a spike here. So, and a spike for us isn't like a spike in the States. I think we ended up with 300 people in hospital. That to us is a spike. It's very different here in Canada. I don't know how, I see I see our figures and I smile and I go, yep, that's what we consider to be serious. And probably in America, people will just laugh it off and go, that's not even worth reacting to. But that's why our numbers are low. So, anybody got any other input that they want to chat about while we've got time? Or do any of you have any suggestions? Thanks, Jody. Do any of you have any suggestions as to how we could pace ourselves better? And I look at my whole life and realize there is no way in a million years I ever believed I would have to unpack my whole life twice in 1 year. I mean, that's pretty scary if you think about it. All right, I packed everything up. It took a year to pack it all up the first time, and it took me so long to get unpacked. It took me 10 months to get most of it unpacked, except for the studio and the stuff in my storage thing. And then here I am, a year later, doing it all over again. The other thing is that I need to get back into my storage shed because it is raining, and I think I've now got a leak in my storage shed. I may need to put a new roof on, or maybe I need to put a tarpaulin over it. I just need to find out, was that leak to do with the power washing, which is possible, or do I have a problem in the shed? And tomorrow is Saturday, and that's my day for doing things like that. Kimmy's saying they are not doing what they need to do in my state, and in Utah, they are lifting the mandate tomorrow. Yeah, and that's why I'm saying, we had a spike after spring break, right? What is worrying a lot of Canadians is there's a push to open up the border again. And I have to tell you, a lot of Canadians are going, please don't do that. Please don't do that. Canadians are much more careful about this COVID. Not because we don't see wearing a mask as an infringement of our liberties. We see wearing a mask as something that's saving us or other people from getting sick. It's very different. We don't see it as a bad thing. We see it as a good thing. And, I'm pretty sure that we will wear masks up for a long time and be okay with it. It's a new way of life. How many of you put your mask on now without even thinking about it? As I leave my house now, it's like I make sure I've got at least 3 masks with me, and I make sure I have got disinfectant wipes with me. Plus, I have a little bottle of disinfectant wipe on my keychain, so that if my disinfectant wipe gets dry, I can just put more on it and still keep it with me. To me, it's a way of life now. What about you guys? How do you feel about that? Do you still wash your clothes when you go out? I don't mean ever, but I mean, do you still come in and wash your clothes if you've been out? I just want to know, to what degree are you doing this? Because this is now the 3rd wave that's coming in. We may get a little bit of a lull for the summer, but then we'll be going back into winter again, and you know what's going to happen then as we isolate, more. All right, Kimmy's saying she's really careful and still washing things. Isabel's saying, it was my first day at work with a mask all day. It was not as bad as I thought it would be. Yes, Kimmy's saying it's a way of life for me. And I would say, for those of us who are making it a way of life, we're going to have a better chance than a lot of people. Jody is saying, I make sure Lionel has a wardrobe of masks and I wash them frequently. Yes, we're still washing our clothes after being out. Yep. Sandy's saying, yes, we change and wash our clothes if we go out. And it doesn't, right, let's make sure everybody knows why. The bacteria don't like soap. They run away from soap. So basically, just tuck everything into your washer and just put in a nice, probably more soap than you would usually use. And if you've got the ability to do an extra rinse, do that. The main thing is get enough soap on your clothes. But if you put extra soap in, also make sure that you give it the extra rinse. Or you don't need to put soap in your clothes for the next 2 washes. Good. Anything else that you do? How many of you are still frustrated about the number of people who are not doing what they need to do? I was out, obviously, doing my needle day. I had my blood glucose done, my A1C. I did that and just squeaked through it. I was so pleased with that. I thought it was going to be over the top, but I had that done, and I had an owie patch here, and the same day that I had my vaccine. But here's what I want to tell you. I want to tell you, being old, gray-haired, and hard of hearing is not easy these days. It is not easy. People don't realize that 80% of hearing is lip reading. And so with everybody wearing masks that I can't see their lips move, it doesn't matter if I'm wearing a hearing aid or something, I can't hear what they're saying because I can't see their lips move. Does that make sense to anybody? It is the combination of hearing and watching the mouth move that makes it possible. And it is really difficult for me. I was actually buying something in a store this week. I actually had to go into a store to buy something, and I couldn't understand what the teller was telling me. And I said, please just lower your mask and tell me what that is so I can lip read. And she said, no, we're not allowed to. I said, fine, then write down what you just are trying to tell me, because I cannot understand you. I'm so sorry. And I'm wearing a hearing aid. Becca's saying, I can hardly stand to watch people come into the dollar store wearing a mask literally on their chin, and also people with them wearing them on their chins as well. All right, so they're not covering their mouth and nose, which is what they're meant to be doing. They're covering their chin, like I'm wearing it, but I'm not wearing it where it needs to be. Kimmy is saying, I'm very frustrated with other people that won't wear masks or distance. Who won't stop going to functions, etc. I'm just looking out for myself and my family. That's a good way to be, Kimmy. Stop trying to control them. They're always going to be stupid and uncaring. All right, you can look after you. Jody is saying, Lionel was talking to me while still wearing his mask, and I literally had no idea what he was saying. That is my life every time I go into a store, Jody. And that's why I don't go out very much, because I literally cannot hear what people are telling me. And it's not that I'm not wearing a hearing aid, I am, but I don't have that visual aid to help me. And quite honestly, I try not to get angry about it. But you can understand, Jody, how difficult that is and how frustrating that is. And they look at you like you are stupid. I'm not stupid. I'm hard of hearing. That doesn't make me stupid. And I'm wearing a hearing aid and I still can't hear you because you don't enunciate properly. You're talking way too fast and I cannot lip read. You put those three things together? No way. So all of you working, whether it's, Becca or Beth or working retail, will you make sure that you train your people to understand that reality? Please. Oh, Becca's saying the common misunderstanding we have is cards. The carts. What you hear is cards, and they're actually saying carts, and that has to do with enunciation, and it makes it very difficult. But I want to tell you something. I was almost in tears on Wednesday because it was just so difficult for me. And the other thing is, if you look away and talk to me, I definitely haven't got a hope in heaven, right? If you are talking to me and you turn your head and do something at the same time, there is no way I can hear you. Why? The sound is going in the wrong direction. It's not coming at me. And so my wish is that any of you that are involved with anybody that's in retail, can you make sure they understand that? It is horrible. It is almost debilitating for me. And what I have learned to do is just say to them, I am sorry, I'm going to need you to write that. And I don't care who's waiting behind me. I have the right to be able to understand. By the way, what the teller was trying to tell me was that she was entering my name into a drawer to win a Mother's Day prize. I said to her, first of all, thank you for that. And secondly, for taking the time to let me understand that. You just made my day. I didn't say, and I'm not a mother. Well, I am a proxy mother. But, it was just like, here she was trying to give me a gift, and it was so cute. And I couldn't appreciate it because I couldn't hear. I did buy, I've been doing unboxing things. Something else I bought this week. I bought myself my new cloche. I bought a baby cloche because, I don't know where the big one is. So I bought a baby one. Why? Because I normally just bake for myself and that's big enough for me. So I don't know why that made me so happy. Becca's saying, I have to tell our other lead cashier who knows she mumbles that I can't hear her when she looks away. It's so frustrating. Yes. I used to say to people when they were talking to me, even when I could hear, I used to say, hang on a second, let me put on my glasses so I can hear you. And people would say, that is so insane, Sal. What are you saying? And I said, I hear much better when I'm wearing my glasses because I can see your lips move. I've said that since my 20s. And, you know, I don't know about you guys, but I don't think I should need to have to cry to be able to get somebody to understand that this hurts me at a very deep level. It hurts me because I can't do anything about it. You know, my hearing is shot for whatever reason, I don't know, and it isn't because I did anything wrong, but my hearing has gone. And so to me, it's like, it's not my choice, just is what it is. And I've got to deal with it for the rest of my life. And wearing a mask makes it that much more difficult. By the way, I ask people to lower the mask just enough so I can lip read and then put it back again. And I am wearing a mask and a shield. You know, so the, you know, it's, anyway, never mind. I understand if they have a thing that says they may not lower the mask, but then you need to write it for me because I do have the right to, you know, to understand what you're saying. You know, I can't hear it. You're going to have to write it. Part of me, as I was at the bank one time, and I was dealing with somebody that was English as a second language. I'm English as a second language as well, so I have understanding of that. But guess what? Couldn't hear anything that she said. So I literally took my phone and I typed what I was trying to tell her, and I showed her. And I said, please type the reply. Becca's saying, do you have the plexiglass at the register area there in Canada? Absolutely. She had plexiglass and a mask. By the way, when I went for my vaccine, I had the same problem. No, when I went for my A1C, I had the same problem. There was a person sitting behind plexiglass wearing two masks, a shield and a mask, and I'm on this side wearing a shield and a mask, and she's going blah, 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 blah. Blah, 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 blah. I said, I know you know what you're telling me, but I have got your mask in my way, a plexiglass stopping the sound, and I cannot understand you. So we've got to find some way. Either I need you to say this more loudly and very slowly, or else I need you to write it. And she was not happy, and I didn't care. Sandy's asking, did I wear my shield to your Fauci ouchie, Dr. Fauci ouchie? My husband wants us to wear ours. I wear my mask. I wear a mask and a shield every time I go out. Hang on a second. So to me, it's called double the, sometimes I wear three. This is one of the masks that Jody gave me. She made for me. And actually, Jody, what I do is I do this. I thought I'd show you. I take my blue one and I thread it through the other one, and then I put it on. So there I am with two masks, okay, right there. And on top of that, I put my shield. And to me, if I need to drop a mask, I can still drop it and talk to you so you can understand me. And then I just put this on again. Oh, but that is what I do. So to me, I look at it and go, please be aware. That's all I'm asking. So Sandy, I don't know what the rules are in Ontario, but what I do know is that most places just say a face covering or mask. Yes, Becca's saying you would never see that kind of protection here in the States. That's why I'm saying to you, Becca, look at the numbers of cases we have versus the number of cases you have. And do you know why? We don't consider protecting ourselves an infringement of our rights. You know, what we see is that's what we need to do so we don't get sick. And you do understand, Becca, if I get COVID, I am a dead person probably. Well, maybe not so much now, I've had the first shot. But, you know, it would kill me because of my history of problems with my lungs. So, you know, to me, it's not a joke. To me, it's something really serious. And, you know, until we take it seriously. So, Sandy, why would you not wear your shield as well as a mask? You know, I would say, by the way, they were so good where I went. I was amazed how friendly they were, how helpful they were, the amount of information they gave me. Oh, absolutely. Wear a mask to your vaccine site. I think what Sandy's asking is how many? You know, should I wear a shield as well? Kim is saying there's only place in my town that does that is the family doctor, and the workers at our supermarket wear a mask. Okay. So that's why I'm saying, you know, the rules are different in the States, and so are your numbers. And Becca's saying, sometimes I think moving to Canada wouldn't be such a bad idea. Please stand in line. Jody is ahead of you. And Lionel behind her. Yep. So guys, coping with life is happening. So please remember, things are going to increase in price. Please remember not to get angry about it. Please remember you've been warned. Becca, you're going to be earning less money. So now it's up to you to think about, how do I cope with less money, or how do I make up the difference? All right? Don't be a victim to it. You know, you've made the decision that you want to have more time to look after your health. Great decision, by the way. Jody's saying she had a chance to come to Canada, she'd have our bags packed in 15 minutes. Sandy's saying, I haven't worn it out and haven't even thought about it. We always wear our masks. I'm thinking about it now. Yes, we'll wear the shield as well. All right, so Becca's saying, no victim mentality, I vowed. Well done. All right, that's being adult about it. So to me, this is, I've had this since for a year now. And by the way, I scrub it down with soap every time I come in. You know, I literally did the power soap thing with it, and then just rinse it off. It's a bit scratched up now, but, you know, it still works. And, you know, there's not much getting through Perspex. So it's my own private little bubble. Be careful, people. I would like to have you still here a year from now. That's the bottom line. So let's cope with life as best we can. Let's make sure we pace ourselves. All right? Why? Because we push ourselves really hard. We can have all the dreams and schemes in our lives, but if we're killing ourselves to get to them, that's not a good thing. Kimmy's saying we also wear masks at hospitals and clinics and the pharmacy. Yes, they have to wear a mask too. Jody's saying after the pandemic, we can all take up welding because we got the masks, right? By the way, somewhere in my unpacking, I should have unpacked 5 more masks, shields. I haven't found them yet, but they're somewhere. When I do, I will retire this scratched one. I actually wear that, and I'm wearing glasses as well. And what I like about this one, the one with glasses, is that when I'm driving, it fits really well and it stays there on my head so I can drive, you know, da, da, da. And as soon as I finish driving, I can just Why do I feel like a Star Trek member right now? What's the Star Trek one that had that thing, right? Anyway, so then what I do is, then I can just drop the mouse back on again. And when I drive, I lift it up again, and it works really well. Not Radar. Who was it? Radar was on MASH. I can see him and I can't think of his name. Somebody will come up with it. So there we go. Be careful. And don't worry about what everybody else is doing. Do what you can to protect yourself and your family. And keep being really careful. If you can, wash your fruit. Or the other thing is just don't use it. If you don't want to go through the trouble of washing it immediately, don't use it for, how long is it? 3 or 4 days, all right? Put it away. Keep it in a plastic bag and don't use it. I don't know what temperature. Can you put food in the freezer and that will kill the virus? I don't know that one. We'll find out for Sunday. All right. I'm thinking about that because quite often I must say that I bring meat in and then I repackage the meat and put it in my freezer. Interesting point. We'll look into that. We means Jody will look into that for us. The royal we. And again, sadness for the Queen. Can you imagine? Married for 73 years. And although I'm sure they knew it was coming, how sad to lose Prince Philip. And her life, as she knows it, is changed forever now. And so, so sad. He asked not to have too much done for his funeral, and I'm certain that a state funeral in COVID will be very different from any other. But, I'm certain that an awful lot of people will want to pay their respects to him because he was much loved. I always remember my stepfather telling me that he was actually in a club in London with the Prince one time. And somebody told a joke, and he had an incredible laugh. He had a really good sense of humor. And he burst out laughing and he said, I got to go and tell wifey that one. And, it's just like, when do you hear the Queen called wifey? And apparently the whole place just cracked up. But, he did have that sense of humor. And, a lot has been said about the fact that although we never see it, the Queen has a very wicked sense of humor as well. But, you just don't get to see it. So, everybody have a wonderful weekend. I will see you on Sunday. This is Dear Mama Sal saying thank you for spending the time. I hope you've learned something today. I hope you've got some inspiration for something. I hope you're going to think about what do I need for next season and get it while you can, because it will be cheaper now than it will be in 3 months from now. This is Dear Mama Sal saying bye-bye for now, and I love you dearly. Bye-bye.